my clients say, aha, like, oh, when they go for them. So understanding your client's birth chart and being able to bring that to them really awakens up these aha moments in your clients, which I find to be incredibly rewarding. And it's like being handed a blueprint to their soul. So all their challenges are and strengths are written there. It's why they came to Earth. Now, here's why I find the astrological blueprint to be a game changer for coaches. Now, first and foremost, it helps you understand identity and purpose. So, as I said, the birth chart highlights core aspects of your clients' uh, personal identities, okay? You, as the coach, can use this to help guide your clients on their authentic path. You can help them see when something is a misfit, when it's not working in their relationship, or when it's not working in their career choice, right? When it's not working in their health, you can see this all in the astrological chart. Now, another reason why I love the chart is because it really validates their experiences. And I acknowledged this before, I talked about this before, out of sync with the world around them, right? So the birth chart can help them understand why they're having the feelings they're having. And then you can put together ways to help them overcome those situations, okay? So when clients see their struggles and talents reflected in the stars, it's kind of like helping them feel um, appreciated. It helps them feel seen. It helps them feel heard. And it helps their problems not be so much about them, but about a bigger um, connection to the world and maybe even a connection to God and the divine. And that is really, really powerful. It feels really good. Another way that the chart is so helpful is that it really does help you navigate challenges and growth areas. So every chart has aspects that represent challenges. Everybody has challenges. It can be things like, uh, fears of expressing yourself, fears, trouble with communication, trouble with making money, trouble with finding work, trouble and struggle in relationships, right? Knowing these dynamics allows you as a coach to help your clients through their shadows with like really strong with really strong indicators. Okay. So you don't have to kind of guess at what's holding them back, and you don't have to rely solely on what the client says, because very often your clients don't understand what's going on with them, and they're talking to you from trauma. And yes, it's it's our job to understand trauma and to help them, but using the astrological chart is a great way to help illuminate that, to help them understand root causes and see correlations between things. Now, also, you can customize your coaching strategies, okay? So, not every approach is going to work for every client. So, for example, when I know that I'm dealing with my water signs, so when my clients are, well, and actually, I'm going to talk about my certification students, okay? This is so woo-woo. I'm being very woo-woo right now. When I'm with my certification students, my students who are water signs need to be worked with in a different way than my fire signs. My fire signs, I can be like, here's the video, here's the worksheet, go get it done. Whereas with my water signs, we might need more of a dialogue. And it's not about intelligence. All of them are super intelligent: fire, water, air, earth. Everybody's got their own intelligence. but it's about understanding that the feminine signs are feminine and they are much more about flowing, whereas the fire signs and the air signs are much more cerebral, and they're much more about, let me get my hands in there and just do it and give me the system and let me figure it out. I'm going to dominate and take charge of this. I know what I want to do, and they're going to go about it in a different way. So for me, it really helps me to understand my students and my clients' um, astrological makeup so that I can tailor their coaching, their needs, or the way that I'm delivering my coaching to them, right? And another thing, the last thing that I'm going to say about this is that birth charts really help your clients connect with their own intuition. So when they see that their innate qualities are mirrored by the stars, they actually can feel really empowered by themselves. It helps them not feel alone. It helps them to trust themselves. And that way, they can take bigger, bolder actions in their lives. As a coach, you can help facilitate this connection to self and connection to the universe by helping them understand that the stars in the sky are actually embracing them and influencing them. All right. So um, that is my very first way to use astrology. Now I want to dip into the second way, which is kind of like maybe my favorite way. I think I might have said that the first way is my favorite way, but this is really my favorite way, and it's the lunar cycle for healing and manifesting. So, what is the lunar cycle? The lunar cycle is simply the phases of the moon. And you've heard about the moon waxing and the moon waning. And what does all that mean? And how can you use it as a life coach in your business? Well, first, I want to talk a little bit about um, the moon phases. So people have been using the moon phases for eons. I mean, that is literally eons, okay? And they've used the moon cycles to plant crops. And the moon cycles have reflected themselves through women through the menstrual cycle, right? So the moon cycles are really, really important. They have been with us, and the moon is kind of our beloved goddess that has a form that we can see and appreciate, right? We can see the moon when she's full. We can see her when she's waxing. We can see her when she's waning. It's just like the sun in the sky, right? Well, it's not like the sun in the sky, because that sun, you cannot look at it. You cannot gaze upon it without frying your eyeballs. So we want to make sure that the moon, we understand we can use her as our guide that we can see. We can sit in meditation. We can put our crystals there and sit with them. And it's a really, really wonderful experience. So as a coach, using the new and the full moon cycles in your practice can give you a wonderful way for setting intentions, releasing blocks, and encouraging your clients to kind of align their goals with the natural cycle of the moon, which is the cycle of life. So let's take a look at these two powerful phases and how you can use them. So the new moon I use as a time for beginnings and planting seeds. So the new moon occurs when the moon is basically invisible in the sky. It's basically dark, okay? It's the dark phase of the lunar cycle, and it represents the beginning of a new chapter. This is the best time to do reflection about what you want to create in the outer world. So for me, so just a little note, the new moon is dark because the sun is behind it. It's between the sun and the earth. And so when we look at it, there's light behind it and it just appears dark. Okay. Now, that gives us the feeling, it gives the feeling in the sky of being quiet, introspective. We're in the shadow of the moon when the moon is new. And the new moon is in the same sign as the sun. So the sun is very, very powerful. It is the dominant force in our solar system. It is the source of our solar system. It is dominant and it is making the moon behave in a way that is different than what she would behave without that positioning. When she's in that position, she is empowered. She is more outward because she's there with the sun. All right. Now, I do a lot of talks around the moon, so I want you all to kind of keep your eyes and ears open. When I do another moon ritual or moon talk, I'd love to let you know. So this is also a great time for me to remind you to sign up for the Wealthy and Woo Woo Challenge. The links are in the description and in the comments as well. All right. So we'll be talking more about how to use these woo-woo principles and bringing magic into your coaching business. But during the challenge, it's going to be actually about like how to do this in a way that earns you money. All right. Grows your coaching business. Okay. So when the moon is new, she's in the same astrological house or the same sign as the sun. And it means that instead of the moon being more quiet, cold, and introspective, she's becoming more outward and more goal oriented. So during this time, it's a great time for doing manifestation exercises. It's a great time for writing out goals and kind of asking yourself, what kind of opportunities do I want to invite into my life? And what seeds am I planting that I want to nurture over the next 10 months? All right. So using this information and creating rituals for your clients, my clients love their moon rituals. They love their workbooks. They love the reflection around each moon cycle. So I highly recommend both the new and the full moon. Now, the full moon is different. When the moon is full, she's on the opposite side of the earth. She's on the opposite side of the sun, which is why there's light shining on her and you can actually see her beautiful face. So the full moon, even though she's really got light that we can see, the full moon represents the end of the cycle, and it is a time for healing. Very often, our emotions rise and our subconscious mind comes out when the moon is full. And so this becomes a time of like inner work, going inside, looking for completion, looking to the past of what has led you to this moment. The full moon is a culmination of ideas. It's the culmination of energy. It's the culmination of emotions. It is a time to be full and swollen and then to release. So having tears during the full moon is wonderful. And, you know, your clients are feeling these things, whether you're talking about it or not, they're going through it. So why not bring in the moon as a support, and creating some rituals and practices around this can really, really be helpful for the full moon and for your clients. Now, I like to also celebrate at the full moon time. I usually celebrate though after I've cried. I will usually have some kind of a healing or some kind of not a meltdown. It's just, I'm doing my inner work and it's the full moon. It's now the culmination of all that I've learned, all that I've grown. And there's an eruption of emotions. And then I follow that up with some celebration because for me, that is a wonderful, blessed process. Okay. So keep in mind that you can host a new moon ceremony and a full moon ceremony for your clients, right? During the new moon ceremony, you can do manifestation work, goal writing. You can think about, you can do action plans. And at the full moon, you can do things like healing work, you can do reflection work, and you can do some releasing and surrendering. You can do deep subconscious work, all kinds of things like that. So this is why I love constantly moving throughout the constellations. If you're new to astrology as a coach, the moon is a great place to start because you can learn about the um, the the constellations and the zodiac signs as the moon. Oh, let's see, sun is in Aquarius, so we'll have the new moon, Chinese New Year. Okay, Chinese New Year will be the new moon in Aquarius. And the full moon, which will happen in about 2 weeks, will be in Leo, right? So, yes, there you go. Why was I saying that? I forgot what I was saying. I don't remember what I was saying. I got distracted. I was thinking about Chinese New Year. I got to be honest. This is kind of my favorite holiday because number one, I am an Aquarius, and hence Space Cadet here, who totally got off topic, forgot what she was saying. But I do love the I just love the moon cycles and I love Chinese New Year. It's really so festive and this is really the real New Year. Chinese New Year is the real New Year for me. This is by the at the beginning, January 1st, I am never ready with my goals, but by Chinese New Year, I am ready for my goals. Okay, so anyway, let me get back on topic and let me deliver to you the very last and what I think the most powerful way that a coach can use um, astrology in their coaching business. And that is with shadow work and healing using Chiron. So Chiron is known as the wounded healer. And it is an incredible tool for identifying and addressing deep-seated emotions and patterns. So Chiron can help your clients uncover their vulnerabilities and really it gives you a pattern to help transform them into strengths. So by embracing their pain, your clients can actually start to unlock their soul's wisdom using Chiron is not a planet. It is an asteroid. Wait, oh God. Is Chiron an asteroid? I think Chiron is an asteroid. So using this asteroid, I really need to look that up. Um, Rebecca, will you please look up and just type it into the Zoom chat for me? If Chiron is an asteroid, it's Chiron. I don't know. I'm having brain farts. Like I've had brain fog for the last 3 weeks. I'm just not very clear. So I'm gonna just let that be. I might have just put that out there wrong for y'all. Y'all will let me know though if I have, okay? Um, but here's what I know. I'm very clear about this. Where Chiron is in your birth chart really shows you the nature of your deepest vulnerabilities and the area of life where your wounds, like your deep, profound wounds, manifest. It also points to the ways that you can transform those wounds into a source of strength and healing, not only for yourself, but for other people. And this is where I find this to be so very, very powerful. Um, as a life coach, I always start doing my work on myself. Okay, I start with myself. And whatever I learn with myself forms the basis for how I'm going to help other people. It's where I'm most qualified, my own experiences. And I've talked about that a lot. When you do, oh, Chiron is a comet. Thank you, Rebecca. Chiron is not a satellite dish. Um, did I say? Chiron is not a satellite dish, y'all. Chiron is a comet. Um, so for me, again, the idea of doing work on myself and bringing it to my clients is really, really important because that's where the empathy builds. And so by studying, as coaches, by studying our Chiron placement and studying our own deep wounding, you're using Chiron, it really helps us to be able to do the same for other people. And Chiron is a generational body. It's a generational comet, which means that it's in its position for a long time and it has lots of influence on the current generation. Okay. So, for example, Chiron in Aries is wounding to one's self-identity or self-esteem. So if you have a Chiron wounding, you might find that you are plagued by feelings of unworthiness throughout your life. Even if you're really, really successful, really beautiful, really rich, really well-spoken, you can still have these kind of undercurrents of unworthiness that plague you. But as a life coach, you are your first client. So what you do is you work on yourself and you learn how to. It's not really about healing the wound. Chiron is the wounded healer. His wound does not heal. But part of the job with Chiron is to learn how to live with the wound and to use it to improve your life and the lives of others. So for me, going into coaching was the thing that I needed to do. It's the way that I heal myself is by helping others and by being of service in this way and learning how to overcome my own unworthiness so that I can put other people first and still show up for them like a rock star, right? Learning how to receive praise, learning how to receive money, even though I have this Chiron wounding, it's like really, really powerful for me. It's a big part of my life and my own personal growth. And that is how I bring that into my work, right? So Chiron can really teach us that our deepest pain can really become our superpower when we can use it wisely and when we can use it with our intuition. It can really guide us and be a really powerful spirit guide. All right. Now, shadow work, I love shadow work. Shadow work is kind of what I like to say that shadow work is a way of consciously doing healing work. So healing work can be done very passively where you just sit and breathe. So if I do Reiki on you, you're going to just sit and relax and breathe and you're going to do nothing, right? You don't want to be thinking, you don't want to be doing anything. You just want to be. Well, with shadow work, it's a little bit different. And that's why I love shadow work because I'm very cerebral, I'm analytical. So, what I do with shadow work is I think, right? And it's an opportunity for us to bring our minds into the healing process so that we can see ourselves and understand ourselves on a conscious level. Now, doing some shadow work exercises requires that you stop thinking. But the great thing about shadow work is that you don't have to stop thinking and surrender. So for people who are super analytical, you can do shadow work and it's a wonderful way to heal. You can, if you have questions about it, put your questions in the comments and I will be happy to answer them. But these exercises are great because you can, as a coach, they're great because you can use these exercises to help guide your clients through healing and transformation. So, shadows are the parts of ourselves that we suppress or we deny or we avoid them, okay? Because they feel really uncomfortable. Like they can make us feel very shameful. They cause us a lot of emotional pain. So these shadows are often buried in our subconscious mind, but they influence our thoughts and our behaviors and our decisions in many different ways. So these shadows include things like your unresolved trauma, inner child wounding, fears or insecurities, all that stuff that comes up at the full moon when you are freaking out and your subconscious mind is coming forward. All of that is shadow work. Shadow work is subconscious junk. Okay. So the goal of shadow work isn't to eliminate these parts of ourselves, like we're not trying to kill ourselves off, but we're really trying to bring them into the light of awareness so that they can be understood and healed and integrated as much as we can. Okay. So, shadow work is a wonderful tool for personal transformation because it really allows us to even break free from self sabotaging behavior. And it can help us reclaim the parts of ourselves that we have disowned. So, what you can do in your coaching business, because Chiron and shadow work are intrinsically linked, because they're both about working with unhealed. My mouth does not want to say that. My throat is like, you don't want to say unhealed. Hold on. So, it's really they're both about working with the unhealed wound. So you bring the knowledge about the person's Chiron placement and you bring in the shadow work, and boy, you can really help your clients um, expand in those areas where Chiron is placed. So, for example, if Chiron is placed in the seventh house, that's the house of that intimate personal relationship, the house of marriage, partnership. And so, if there's a wound there, you can help your clients deal with that wound. If it's in the first house, which is the house of the self, the body, self-esteem, you can help them there. If it's in the 10th house, it can be around career, right? If it's in the second house, it could be around issues of self-esteem, but also issues around money, right? So yes, bringing shadow work to and uniting it with Chiron is very, very, very powerful. So I want to wrap things up right there. Those are the three ways that you can use astrology in your life coaching business. All right. So I want to remind you to sign up for the Wealthy and Woo Woo Challenge. And it's happening February 18th, 19th, and 20th. It's 1 hour a day, starting at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's about 5:30 if you are on the West Coast. All right. And yeah, it's going to be just great fun. Okay. We're going to make a post about it and I'll go into detail and show you, but there's lots of information on the landing page. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. I look forward to seeing you here again next Tuesday, and we will take a deep dive into another coaching topic. All right, Crystalline is here signing off. Bye for now, everybody. Bye.